Hey guys, I'm Jacob. You're watching the Preppers Bunker Outdoors. I am actually indoors today, even though I've got a background picture of my yard. I am under the weather. I am spending the day packing up your orders. I really, really want to get outside, but I can hardly get around anywhere without being out of breath at the moment. And I can't breathe out of my nose either, which is kind of inconvenient. So I'm down here in the pit and I'm shipping, and I probably won't be looking directly into the camera for a lot of this video because it's really difficult to do when I've got a computer screen right below it and a microphone right in front of my face. I'm sure that gave a really good visual there, but you'll have to bear with me. I've been confused about the status of the economy. And the reason for this is I am to some degree plugged in with a lot of business owners, small business owners, to maybe what some might consider medium level business owners, or what peasants like myself might wrongfully think of as higher level business owners. We had this big recession scare when we had met the traditional definition of a recession recently. And the White House came out and conflicted this information by saying it cannot be a recession because while we do have a GDP decline over this period of time, we have record low unemployment and record high jobs available. So this is what we're going to discuss. I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I am just skeptical and analytical enough to ask some questions. And sometimes I come upon the right questions and the right resources, and I want to share this with you. If you enjoy this channel, I'm not going to do an intro here. Please just check out the description box below. You can see how you can support this channel. And the biggest thing here, besides my own websites and brands, is April 1st, 2023. If you're a knife nerd, I'm going to be doing a live auction on this channel at 7 p.m. Central Time. And this will be the biggest live auction knife auction that I will ever do, including a lot of rare one-off and never again to be made knives that are integral to Exodus knife and tool history, if that's something that you care about. I think that that will be something that is a lot bigger someday than it is today, as we are still relatively early in the Exodus knife and tool journey, I guess. Anyways, so our economy the status of our economy can be defined in a lot of different ways. However, there are two meters by which the damage done to our economy can be measured that the professionals do not admit, do not look at. And so it's just us peasants that see some of these things. So your economy, our American economy, the most valuable, consistent, and reliable currency in the economy is something that nobody talks about. Nobody ever mentions. It's not gold. It's not silver. It's not platinum. It's not cryptocurrency. It's not the US dollar. It's not housing. It's not land. It's not any of this stuff. It's Hot Wheels and Little Caesars pizza for decades, freaking generations. The prices on these things have remained consistent. Today, you will see Hot Wheels being sold on the shelves, I know, being that I've got two kids, at between $1.18 and $1.25 a piece. And your Little Caesars hot and ready pizzas are up to $7.50 in some places. Nowhere that I have been has a Little Caesars hot and ready pizza been $5 for quite some time. That means that our most stable assets in our economy in the history of our country have about a 25% increase, which has never, ever really happened. This is a much larger deal than you might think, because if our Hot Wheels and our Little Caesars pizzas have increased by 25% in cost, what is your cost of living cost increase actually going to be? You see, through all of the recessions that we have seen in the past, the gas crisis of the 80s, through the housing market collapse and bubble of 2008, through all of these things that we've been through, this has never happened before. And I think I know why. And I know that the professionals, I know that the White House, I know that these economists, they know this. So why is it being kept a secret? They are saying that we are not in a recession because unemployment's at an all-time low and available jobs are at all-time high, because the boomers are retiring. They don't need jobs. The best workers in the history of our country and the most prolific generation we have ever had is leaving the workforce. This should be right in front of your face. The only reason you can't see this is because you are not looking. It's insane to me. And so you've got this guy that has been repairing chainsaws for the past 30 years, who shows up on time every single day, 5 days a week, every single week, every single month, only uses minimum vacation, never takes a sick day. He can bust apart that chainsaw in 13 seconds and repair the thing, not because he's taken the requisite number of classes and online classes and PowerPoint presentations, but because he's learned shortcuts through experience. And he retires, and some guy like me is supposed to fill his position, and we see 490 chainsaws lined up that need to be rebuilt for the day, and we're like, we haven't been taught how to do. I can't do it. I need like 6 more employees, but we don't have 6 more employees, because guess what? I want freaking like 10 weeks off after my wife has a kid. I want all of my sick days. I'm going to have coronavirus 6 times a year. I've got to go get 97 boosters. I've got to attend EO PowerPoint presentations. Okay, I'm not the worker that the guy that I'm replacing was, right? Because I'm from a different world, really. And so not only that, but on average, I'm not going to work here for 30 years. Okay, I'm probably going to work here for between 3 to 6 years, and then I'm going to leave and go somewhere else because I'm tired of working here. So I will never obtain the level of proficiency that he had obtained. And you're going to have to hire somebody new. But guess what? People, kids, they're not wanting to work either. All right? They've been raised being told that they're special and that they're unique and that words hurt. Okay? And love is love. And, if they can just barely skimp by doing some little BS job while living in their parents' basement, well, that's just okay. We've got this huge thing going on here, guys. I'm looking for my toilet paper because my nose is running, but I don't understand why all of our best economists and people who are talking about whether or not this is a recession or not are not talking about the period of time between the boomer generation and now. We are in a critical time in our nation's economy where it's time to pass the baton, to pass the torch to the next generation, from the largest generation that there has been to a much smaller generation that really needs to be much more efficient and much more diligent. And simultaneously, your psyops and your social engineering are pounding kids into trying to make them worthless And then just to cover up this transition, this passing of the baton, so that nobody actually notices what's actually going on, perfectly timed, we get the coronavirus. And we get Joe Biden pushing all of these socialist agendas and starting, coronavirus hitting under Joe Biden. He starts writing stimulus checks and being an absolute socialist, and Obama before him. And oh, wait. No, that's right. All of this socialism was started under Donald Trump, and under any other president, the coronavirus apocalypse would have been impossible, because you wouldn't have been so busy worshiping your president that you would just go along with this fascist regime forcefully shutting down private business while promoting these mega corporations that you claim to hate and giving out some free money. And now you're like, oh my goodness, the economy's crumbling. I can't afford anything. I have to find something different to do with my life. How did we let this happen? It couldn't have been like what everybody was saying was going to happen from the very beginning, while you were running around like an absolute freaking coward, hiding in your house during the corona apocalypse and accepting the lockdowns and mandates that were given to you. I'm surprised my voice can even do this at this point. I'm going to be honest. Anyway, so we have this big cover up, and we don't want anybody paying attention to this torch that's being passed, but this torch is being passed. And it's a really big deal. I'll tell you right now, in Bowling Green, Kentucky, simultaneously, and Franklin, Kentucky, we have factories being filled with illegal immigrants. They don't have green cards. We don't know where they came from. They are being shuttled out for free health benefits, and they get free housing, and they send most of their money home, but we don't know where they came from. Who knows? We don't know why they're here. We don't know how they're here. We don't know who's bringing them. But they're working all of these factories. Factories are paying $18+ an hour starting wage, and they can't get good workers to stick around. So I don't know a business owner that is not struggling to find quality employment right now. Help wanted signs in every doorway. Even down the road a little bit, a little custom chocolate shop that sells some alcoholic chocolates and homemade chocolate stuff. Business should be booming for them. Help wanted sign. They can't get anybody to freaking work for them, not even for a good wage. Simultaneously, we have people calling for socialism and for incredibly high minimum wage payments, while business owners, the people who would be paying these, are having record losses and absolutely struggling, and the supply chain is crumbling. And people are like, the government is so terrible. Somebody help us. The government is killing us. They're absolutely inept. Somebody give them more money. Let's get some more money from China so that we can fix this. American patriots, people who are claiming to be American patriots or icons in the Second Amendment community, are like, we need red flag laws, and I support these red flag law fake Republicans, and what in tarnation? Joe Rogan is this left-wing dude who admits to being left-wing, but he gets a couple conservatives on his show. He gets a couple of people to tell the truth or most of the truth on his show, and he becomes a conservative icon, but he is publicly supporting a socialist for the president of the United States. And this is crazy. People are so stupid that when I mention this, people are like, where's your proof? Proof? Google it. It's not a secret. I don't need to provide you proof. Are you a 4-year-old? Do you need me to like... There are certain things where I need to provide evidence where I say something, okay? There are certain places... Oh, I remember where I was going with those pro-2A patriots that we've been given. They're out here supporting red flag laws, and what are they doing? They're selling imported goods. Tim Kennedy, freaking, all you see is him selling imported goods from 511, or being the head of companies that just sell imported goods, or all of these people, they're selling you China. They're like, China's crushing us in America. We got to stand strong. Come here. Buy my $30 weapon-mounted home defense light for your pistol. America, America is sick. The current I'll say the current generation is sick. It is, but the last generation wasn't less sick. What the crap is going on here? Why is this? Why is this possible? Why? How? It's amazing. We're so deep into a system of social engineering that the well-intentioned people that I want to help, that I care about, who believe that they are fighting the good fight, are just supporting the same guys that they're supposedly standing against, with a couple red, white, and blue sprinkles sprinkled on top. It's so shallow that I'm struggling with understanding how you can not see it, but it's there, and that's where we're at. So basically here, guys, the Hot Wheels thing and the Little Caesars thing, it's real. The White House saying that we're not in a recession, it's an absolute lie. They found a little loophole to give to you to get you to calm down, but they know the truth. They know why unemployment is at record lows and available jobs are at record highs. And they know why the economy is absolutely crumbling. And it's really because they want it to. They're creating this. And let me tell you something else. This isn't what the video is about. It deserves its own video. But you think that you're really fringe and you're really edge because you don't support the Fed, the Federal Reserve, okay? And nobody in their right mind would support the Federal Reserve. But it's made so blatantly public, and it's so easy to find how incompetent the Federal Reserve is and how screwed up the system is. Don't you think maybe you're being fed some information? Don't you think maybe you're being guided in a certain direction? The Fed is absolutely incompetent. It was designed to be incompetent, and it is even advertised as being incompetent. Do you think that that's because they want to replace it with something better? Do you think they're advertising that because it's going to create a power vacuum or a currency vacuum in which a naturally better system will organically be created? Or do you think it's because they already have something worse in store for you? Here's the deal, guys. The electric cars are coming. The purpose of electric cars is not the environment. If you believe that, you're a flaming idiot. Just dumber than hell. I'm sorry, but just stupid. The purpose of electric cars is control. The government is subsidizing electric cars because they have a vested interest in it. And although, no matter how much government subsidies they give, they won't be affordable right away, and people will still be driving around in beaters. In 5 to 10 years, when they don't want you driving them anymore, fuel will be $15+ a gallon, and your little electric cars will probably be $5 or $6 grand, because the government will be taking all of your taxpayer money that they're not giving to the NFL to keep you drooling at the TV and not paying attention. All the money that they're not giving to the NFL and the NBA and all of this crap, they're going to be subsidizing electric vehicles and electric engines so that they can control your source of transportation. They're not going to fix the incredibly decrepit power grid and power system, though. They're not going to work on all of the problems that they have. That would defeat the purpose, right? An ice storm hits you, you lose power, you can't drive anywhere, you die in your houses like good little peasants if you're not strong enough to live. And if you are strong enough to live, you're going to come back and work for them and generate revenue for them and build things in their factories for next to nothing because you have no other choice and you're really hungry. Maybe they'll get your cars running for you again, too, so you can feel like you have some freedom. So you can, on the 4th of July every year, go wave your red, white, and blue flag and say independence. If you're allowed to have fireworks, don't get me wrong, if you're allowed to celebrate your freedom with, some explosions that simulate combat, for all of you combat veterans complaining about PTSD and loud noises and explosions, that is the point, by the way. That is the point. If you're allowed to do that, you can go on and just keep talking about America, the land of the free. Don't worry that we just had our own Chernobyl and that just like Mother Russia, we're covering it up. Just think about the land of the free. And you know what? Pick a side between Ukraine and Russia. Pick a side. Yeah, Putin supports Christianity. Russia's always been pro-Christian, right? Never mind the fact that they murdered Christians for decades, and that you cannot be a Christian outside of the Russian Orthodox, which is just a shell religion to support their government. Never mind that, because we can call it Christian and say, and be pro-Russian and say, yeah, Russia's the good guys. Or you can be on the blue team and say Ukraine is the good guys as they're pushing their freaking sick agenda while they're running their biolabs, while we're cleaning the Democrats' money through their country. They have the right to sovereignty. They're a free country. Who's free in Ukraine? What's the difference for a Ukrainian between being a Ukrainian and being Russian? Do either of them have freedom? Oh, you can have guns, fellow comrade Ukrainians, while we have enemies. And then after that, you got to come give them back to us or we're going to kill you. Because it's about us. It's not about you. It's about government. Look, you're not going to have peace until you detach from the system and realize how stupid this puppet show is. The Bible says that it's a puppet show. The real war is a spiritual war. All right. We have some cataclysmic world event for Christians that we are building up to. Everything that you see is a puppet show. And so long as you are putting your hope in the next hero that the government gives you, Tim Kennedy, Jocko Willink, who else? Evan Hafer. The government, they'll use them up, and trust me, they're not afraid to get rid of their own either. Tim Kennedy, he makes one more screw up, they'll crucify him in a heartbeat to appease the peasants, right? But they'll replace him with somebody else. They'll replace him with a new hero that has a new amazing backstory to advertise to you. He'll be your new hero. He will help guide the conservative narrative and discussion away from true liberty. You will continue to think that the word sovereign citizen sound cringy because you've been programmed to believe that your own freedom is somehow cringy. The government is in shambles because the church first was in shambles because it has been assaulted and because it was afraid to stand for the truth because there was financial incentive to instead kind of ease over some of the more rocky terrains in scripture. Okay, so you've got the church is shrinking. The church is not growing. It's insane for anybody to believe that. The church is shrinking, right? Depravity is expanding. Social qualities, principled men are being silenced, are being murdered, are being outbred, okay? And what you have left is this absolute freaking crapshoot. So I wasn't going to talk about that, but I'm sick and I'm rambling, and that's what's going to happen. There you go. Have a blessed day. Talk to you in the comment section below. If you got really mad in this video, feel free to just write me paragraphs about why it will be beneficial for us all. Thank you very much. End meeting for all.